Hey, everybody, welcome to our very first episode of Etopia Live. I am Heidzalyn, and I'm here today with St. Josh. Hey, Josh, how's it going?
It's going pretty good. I'm really glad to be here with you today. Thank you for meeting with me and having me on today.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you for agreeing to help me co-host this project. And let me just explain what this ETOPIA Festival project is all about. So, ETOPIA Festival is a workforce development project. It's new. The letters represent esports, technology, operations, production, innovation, and the arts. Now, last year, a small group of creative business owners and nonprofits collaborated on their first pilot event in August of 2024. It was live streamed, and our music videos that we produced from this live video. We're going to be doing some live music video release parties coming up soon. But until that happens, we're starting this live stream. Kind of like getting ourselves organized and ready. And you might notice this one's kind of basic. We're going to start adding some cool graphics and other stuff to make this more interesting as we go. But we are preparing for something big this year. For 2025, we're preparing our first 10-week cohort for a small group of 16 to 24-year-old creatives that are interested in learning more about event planning and production. The first cohort is going to be for the girls. We have about 8 pre-registered and interested. And the first event that ETOPIA is going to be working hands-on with this project is called the Believe Retreat. And it's a 2-day in-person retreat for creative women that's going to be at the Embassy Suites here in Jacksonville in September. So this cohort, this group of girls is going to learn everything from the beginning of planning the event and picking the date and booking the hotel and the marketing strategies and everything that goes into planning and organizing the event, like the menu, all that stuff. And then they're also going to learn more about running the sound for the event, the lighting for the event. We're going to have someone there shooting video. And so over the course of this 8 to 10 weeks, they're going to be learning more about this and figuring out what roles they're going to play in this event. After the event is over, there'll be a little bit of a recap so that they can kind of look back at what they learned from doing this event, and then they'll graduate and decide if they would like to get assigned a mentor in a specific area. So this is the project that we are working on starting this year. And so I've invited St. Josh to join me to help interview other creatives, other musicians, so that these new cohorts that are coming in have an opportunity to learn from those of us that are active in the music industry. Mm-hmm. So we're going to be discussing a lot of topics that we feel passionate about, that we feel that others should learn more about. Explore those kind of options and avenues because it might be the missing puzzle piece to get you consistent work in the music industry or whatever it is that that goal is that you're trying to reach for.
Yeah.
So today, I want to introduce the Etopia project a little bit more, and I want to introduce who St. Josh is. Also, we're practicing because this is our first stream. So when you start something new, you can pretty much plan on it not being great. If it is great, I mean, awesome bonus. But when you first get started, it's probably going to suck. But let's see. Let's see how bad it is. How cringy can we make this or not? And then we're going to flip the script. We're going to get Josh to interview me so you can find out a little bit more about how I'm involved with this Etopia project.
Yep.
Okay. So, Josh, thank you again for joining me, for helping me with this, because this project is so much bigger than myself and so much bigger than this group of people that have started the momentum.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I'm very grateful to be a part of it, and just so glad to explore this opportunity with you.
Awesome. So at Etopia, one of our main functions is to connect creative communities and new creatives to those opportunities in those communities. So my first question to you is, how did you get started in music?
Yeah.
And, what have you accomplished so far?
Yeah. So I got started in music at a young age. I was probably about 11 years old when I really started taking it seriously. That's when I began writing, rapping, recording, and I really, grew my passion from that young age. When I was 18, I first got into a music studio, and that's where I really dived into the recording process. So for the next 3 to 4 years, I was spending in and out of studios, recording in my home, just getting that experience. And that was so pivotal for me to really do that because it taught me so much. When I got into, I think it was COVID, like when COVID hit, it was when I got into freelancing and I started selling my services online, where I would do features and songwriting and help out other creatives. And that's essentially how I got into it. And I was able to start networking through that process.
Awesome. So in our Etopia community, we like to celebrate. What is new and exciting in your world? What projects are you working on right now?
All types of stuff. Like I'm constantly busy. One thing that I focus on a lot right now is making music for sync. So this is like stuff like advertising, TV and film. I'm working on a lot of projects for different clients and companies. One of the companies I'm working for right now is actually Staples. So like I'm doing some in-house songs for Staples, like conference team, which it's basically like their C-suite executives. They're going to be having this like private conference. So I'm making like music to motivate their employees.
Okay, so that's like super awesome because, something else that we really value in Etopia is collaboration. And, business executives are not creative musicians, but music has been proven to motivate and
Yeah.
encourage people and, even get people to want to work together and have this like sense of like we have our own song and things like that. So
Yeah,
I think it's really cool that you've kind of found this niche with what you're doing with your music.
for sure. Yeah, I definitely agree. Music is used in almost every piece of media that you hear. If you watch a commercial, you watch a movie, you know, a Netflix show, it doesn't matter what it is. Music is everywhere. And I feel like music is probably the most influential thing, especially like in culture. So I just love the power and vehicle of music and what it can do. And that's why it's so important to me to be, you know, advocating about these things.
One of the reasons why you are a co-host is because I know how much you value collaboration.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit more about how you find people to collaborate with.
Yes. So for me, I use basically all forms. So like social media, sometimes it's in-person stuff, but I usually resonate with people because of their music or their message or what they're, you know, what they're doing. And I usually just reach out and I'm really, really just genuine in my approach. So I send a lot of cold emails, cold messages, and just appreciate people for what they're doing. And I try to always highlight the value and the things that I appreciate about them. And I feel like that's been so effective for connecting with different uh, creatives and professionals. So yeah, I would say a lot of the stuff I do is just literally just reaching out and connecting with people, and then we just have conversations like me and you, and you know we have meetings and things, and it just kind of develops over time. And that's I would say the average process.
And that's exactly how it went down. We were complete strangers up until like what, 2 months ago?
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
And we just started talking and we found out that we had a whole lot in common and oh, hey, wouldn't it be fun to do this? And like we both agreed. So here we are.
Yep.
Um, so as artists, we see or hear what we want to create in our imagination. And then we find a way to make it real for other people to enjoy. What have you been imagining that you want to accomplish this year?
Wow. So for me, I definitely have a vision board. So I keep a lot of my goals planned out, like a lot of things that I want to do. And I write this big, overwhelming list, right? It has like all types of goals and things I want to do, but then I focus on 2 to 3 at once. So I have 100 things, but then every day I take little actions to attack, and it could be 2 to 3 things a day. And those are so effective over time because instead of trying to tackle 100 things at once, I'm focused on 1 to 2 per day. And it makes it so much more effective over time. And it just allows me to not ever feel overwhelmed. And that's kind of how I do it. So, like, my big goals for this year is I really want to move more into the sync space with getting my music licensed, into like a big movie or film, and TV shows on Netflix, Hulu, and stuff like that. So I right now have my own team of creatives where I have about 3 rappers, I have about 4 producers and composers, I have a pop artist, and now I'm building this collective and directory of artists, and we're just focused on making great music, great quality music, original. And we're going to be, once we have a certain amount of catalog, we're going to start pushing and shopping all of this music for different placements and opportunities so we can get it out there and in front of people.
Okay, so if people are interested in maybe learning more about what this collective is all about, can they reach out to you? How can they contact you?
Yeah, absolutely. They can definitely reach out to me. So I have my own website, which is stjoshmusic.com. I also have another website, which is tygmusicgroup.com. And then also on like social media and like all the platforms, I'm at my handle's at St. Josh Music. So they can just reach out. They can send me a DM or whatever. And I'm very engaged in my community. So um, just reach out and send me a message, and I'm always down to chat or help in that process, whatever it is.
All right, I got your website in the chat anyway while I'm multitasking over here.
Okay, okay, awesome. Yeah.
May- Maybe like before this is over, when I'm doing more talking, you can put some of those other links in the chat for me.
Yeah, sure,
Um,
absolutely.
so let's see, where was I? Um, in Etopia, we proactively approach a problem or a challenge and value others' life lessons. Can you tell us a story about a significant obstacle that you faced in your career and how did you overcome it? And what lesson did you learn from these experiences?
Yeah. So for me, the biggest obstacle that I always faced was having to learn how important the business side of music is. Um, when I first started, I thought everything was about the talent. I thought everything was about being just a good artist or making good music or whatever it is, and that you could be successful just off that alone. But when I really dive into the business side, then you learn how important marketing is, how important it is to grow your brand, and to have an education. Um, because the more you know about the business, the more leverage you have as an artist and a creator. Because as creators and artists, we are brands. You know, even if we're one person, we are a brand. You know, and it's so important for you to understand all of the aspects that go into the music industry, and all of the the backside stuff that nobody talks about. You know, everybody just thinks, oh, that person blew up overnight, but they didn't know about the 6 months campaign strategies with ads and all of the promotion, the radio promotion, and all the things that go into it. So for me, I feel like my biggest hurdle was learning the business side, and that has been the part that I'm super proactive in now. And I think that has led me to really, really grow and expand my network and opportunities. And it's allowed me to gain more access to, working with brands, working with, bigger producers, and just really grow. I feel like the business side and networking too, like really valuing the people that are around me. And I think that's super, super important, is to have that collaborative mindset um, to really get to that next level.
I always say that you're one conversation with a stranger away from the opportunity that you've been looking for. I
Yeah,
had to tell
absolutely.
myself that a lot.
Yeah.
Talk to strangers because they can be scary sometimes. So that's a great story. I love that. Thank you. Thank you for
Yeah,
sharing that.
for sure.
So in Etopia, we value mindset, mentorship, and education. What is one piece of advice that you would offer to young artists starting out?
Yeah.
Maybe they're
So
not even young. Maybe they're old and just starting
yeah,
out.
just starting out. Just
Doesn't
starting out.
matter. Just starting out.
Yeah, the one or the biggest thing for me in hindsight, I feel like, is keep everything organized. Like, so if you're making music, keep all your lyrics organized, keep all of your instrumentation organized with, like, the files and mp3s and waves. Make sure to label everything. Put like metadata is so important. That's like the bpm of a song, the key of the song, how what date you recorded it. Try to keep all of these linear notes on your music so you can easily find and access things. Because I had wrote lyrics for years and years, and I never labeled. So when I go back through stuff that I did like years and years ago, and I'm trying to bring a new project to or old project to life, it's a hassle to like try and find everything. So like now my stuff is extremely organized. Like I have Google Drive, and you can use anything like Dropbox, whatever, but make sure all your files are labeled, organized, and everything can be accessed very easily and quickly, because that is going to be a huge, huge advantage, and it's going to make you look and be professional. So I would say that is definitely the biggest advice I could say to anyone starting out: keep everything neat and organized.
Well, and it's going to save like a ridiculous amount of time because, yeah, I've been there, done that as well. And anytime I got to go like revisit those old folders, I'm like, oh man, how long are we going to need to find the right thing out of this folder? Like,
Yeah.
now everything's like, oh, it's like click, 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 boom.
Yeah,
Ha! I got it. It takes a minute. And when you're dealing with clients and their stuff, you don't want to be wasting their time either. So
exactly.
I totally agree with that advice. That is excellent.
Yeah, 100%.
Uh, so at this point, there's supposed to be a mystery question. Um, so hold on a second because I forgot to have that ready before this. But,
Okay.
the point of the mystery question is that, well, you don't know what the question is beforehand, and it's a question that commonly would be asked, like in any kind of like music interview.
Okay.
So hold on just a second. Let me find my list. But while I'm finding the list, pick a number between 1 and 52.
Okay. I'm gonna go with 11.
Okay. Excellent. Let's see. Where did those? Oh, here it is. Here are the questions. Number 11 is, how would you describe your sound to someone who has never heard your music?
Okay. The way that I would describe my sound would be modern vintage, like modern vintage, and I focus on like a classic hip hop sound. I have like new elements of hip hop, but old elements combined. And that's why I call it modern vintage because you're getting a mixture of the old and the new sound. So I would say a modern vintage would be how I define it.
All right. Awesome. I don't know if this is gonna, well, I'm just gonna have to look up the question when it's your turn. Anyway, excellent. Now I'm gonna have to look up what modern vintage is because I don't really
Yeah,
know if I can.
that's kind of like something I created. Like that was kind of like a coin term that I define myself. It's not like not like a popular thing, but for me, it's just the way I love the values of the people that came up because I'm in the hip hop world. So I love the guys from the old school eras who, in the 90s and the early 2000s. And there was such a respect for the culture and the craft of the music. And I feel like some of today's hip hop and music loses that. And music in general, by the way, I feel like loses that. And I just love some of the elements with the melodies and bass lines and certain musical elements, but I also love the new sound of production in terms of uh, the mix quality. Oh, we got a
So,
comment
are
too.
you gonna
Yeah.
use that like a hashtag? Like, if
Hashtag,
are you
yeah.
gonna put that in your like
Yeah.
metadata so when we search it, like it's just gonna be all like pointed to you?
Yeah. Hashtag modern vintage. That's all me. And thank you for tuning in too. We did get a comment. So appreciate it.
Yeah, and we got 5 people watching right now, so that's amazing. Thank you for hanging out with us for this long. Love it. Okay, so this is the moment in time where you can go grab your links, Josh. I shared your website, but if you want to grab
Okay.
like one of your other social pages, or I didn't get the second website link when you were
Yeah. Let me
talking.
get that. Okay. And I'll try to enter that. Where is the? I think we're right here.
And then he's going to put those links in the chat so you guys can follow him. Oh, yeah, I see it pop in there. And you can learn more about what Josh is working on. Maybe reach out to him for a collaboration.
Yeah, absolutely. Don't just send me a message. I'm down to talk about anything for sure.
Yes, he's a real nice guy. He doesn't bite at all. Although I've never met you face to face, so maybe you do
Yeah.
bite.
No, I don't. I'm definitely not.
All right.
It
So
just
now we
it
switch places.
yeah, it
Are
just
you ready to interview me?
let's do it. Let's do it. Let's switch places. So
All right.
now the tables are turning, and we're gonna ask you some of the same questions and see what your responses are. And I'm really excited for this because I've never got to see how you got started and how you came about all of this. So this is going to be really great. So let's dive into the first question. Tell me about how you got started and your kind of background with music and why this is all like Etopia is so important to you.
Okay, so some of you that were born in the 80s might remember this little toy. It was like a little keyboard thing. It was like about this big. It came in all kinds of colors. I don't know. I think I had like four of them. And like it comes with a little songbook, and then you push the little buttons and it makes like a little digital like note noise. And so I was just playing songs like crazy on my little keyboards at age 4.
Wow.
And so my parents also noticed that I really liked to sing. So the combination of those two things, they decided to put me in piano lessons and voice lessons. And really, my love and appreciation for music started there. And that inspired me in 3rd grade when they said, "What are you going to be when you grow up?" And I said, "I'm going to be a rock star," much to the dismay of all of my close family and loved ones that were very concerned about the sex, drugs, and rock and roll aspect of the whole career. So, understandably, they, encouraged and tried to guide me in ways that would help me be successful in my life. And I definitely rebelled enough that I was like, no, I don't care. I'm going to do music stuff. I did my responsible, okay, get a job, like pay my bills, do all of that stuff. And then I came to this place where I was trying to juggle while I was doing both.
Yeah.
And, I felt so frustrated and stuck because I was so burnt out from working my day job that when it came time, even if I had time scheduled to work on a song or create or gosh, like the weekly band practices sometimes where it's just like, once practice started, like everything was good. But that whole initial, like getting in the car, driving there, like
Yeah.
just getting started, and you could tell everybody else is just like, okay, let's do this. And then it gets better. But man, like I kept thinking, like, there's got to be a better way. I mean, everybody said that it was going to be hard, but there's got to be an easier way to do this.
Yeah.
And the other part of the problem was like I wasn't doing everything that I could do because of the beliefs that I had about myself, other people,
Yeah.
and the situation around music in the music industry. And that belief system was not shaped from people that had experience in the music industry and were successful. It was shaped from people that had absolutely no clue. They were just guessing. Maybe they were like local people that like played out of the basement, but they really had no idea how important a brand was,
Yeah.
marketing was, like all of the stuff that Josh was talking about earlier.
Yeah.
And so, they weren't successful. So that was the story over and over again. Like, yeah, you can be in a band, but like you're never going to be successful. This was the overall message that was going through my head all the time.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that it was happening. And I was 27 years old before I learned about any of this programming that was going on in my mind. And up to that point, I felt a lot like a victim, like just things were happening to me and I had no control over it.
Yeah.
And, band drama was like a really big thing in those days. So it's like, gosh, like how does a band like even stay together? Like, and then they have to be in a little fan or bust together and not kill each other. And like, it's like, okay, yeah, like this whole thing, like it's going to be really hard. But again, I was like, there are other people that are doing this. dang it.
Yep.
Like,
Yeah,
I want to
exactly.
do this too. There's got to be an easier way. And
Yeah.
the biggest thing that I've learned so far is just that I have been in my own way with that belief that it has got to be hard. But you know what was hard? Working for other people and their businesses and something that, yeah, I chose carefully. I picked like things that I would have fun in when I worked, but like it wasn't my dream. It wasn't my thing that I wanted to do. I was just helping them live their dream.
Yeah.
Well, I was not leaving myself enough time and energy to do really what I wanted to do. And
Wow.
so that's what led to me 5 years ago deciding to start my coaching business to help other people figure out how can this process be easier? How can I find all of the pieces to put them together so that this image of what I want my life to be is now reality so that everyone else around me can see it.
Yeah. Wow. That was such a great, like, I feel like I got to really know you with that. Yeah, that was an amazing answer, and I agree with everything you're saying. That belief system is so important. I feel like that's one of my favorite things about you is because you're so adamant about the mindset. The mindset is so important to all of this. Like if you don't have your mindset right, then you're not going to have anything right. You're not going to have your business right. You're not going to have the music right. You have to figure the mindset and build that perspective before you can really dive in and be effective and maximize your potential. So I 100% agree with everything you said. And you know, there is more than one way to do this. You know, there's people who are making full-time living doing what they love to do, and that's the belief system that I had is we all have a purpose, and our purpose is so important, and we were put here in my opinion for a reason. And I think if you're not fulfilling your purpose, then you're going to be not happy, you know. And so you need to be doing those things that you feel like you were called to do. So I love that answer, and I feel like that segues into our next question, which was what are you doing that is new and exciting? You know, what are you working on right now? We'd love to know.
Well, as it turns out, um, I'm a master at trying to find time for everything that I want to do. So ETOPIA has been a project that has been in the works for as long as I've been in business, pretty much. Okay. And so one way that we've made this whole project not be difficult because it is a bigger than ourselves project is we've just kind of organically let it unfold as we started to find the right people. We knew what we wanted to accomplish. So then as I'm going out networking, I'm just kind of keeping in my mind exactly who I need on that team to make that happen. But then in the other regard, so this was happening. So Etopia needed an event to be able to do this first cohort. And lo and behold, I'm doing this women's retreat with the Believe retreat. And we needed some help growing our community and doing promoting and, you know, when you're running an event, any extra hands on deck for helping, that would be great. And the other part that I love about this is the girls that are going to be able to go through the Etopia program are also going to be able to benefit from the presentations at the Believe retreat. And there's going to be karaoke and crafts and like all of these cool exercises. And they're going to be able to take advantage of that retreat space, that maker space for creative women in designing their own lives. And when I was younger, in that age group, 16 to 24, I was not looking for these kind of opportunities. I was still like lost in that mindset, that victim mindset of I'm never going to get there. So I'm just so excited to be able to set them up with some of these life skills so they don't have to wait until they're 27 years old to learn something that we should have learned in school.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. That's such a great answer. Um, it's you want to provide these girls with opportunity and resources that you wish you had when you were their age, and I think that's so amazing. Because you're really you care about this because that was you, and that was you were in that position one day, and now it's crazy to see you kind of work the other angle and want to provide opportunities for these young women with the women's retreat, and I think it's so awesome. Yeah, and what you said about finding the right people, that's the biggest thing, and it's so important to put yourself out there and to network and really really do that, to make yourself visible, and you got to be in front of people, um shake hands and kiss babies. That's what they say is like the like
Yes.
like the presidents, essentially. um so that's really great though. That's another segue, finding the right people. So how big is your team? How do you find the right people to work with? What is your process into that?
So, my team is pretty small right now. I'm just beginning the process of scaling up. I, as many people when they're starting in business, they've got to figure out like where they fit.
Yeah,
And I've finally figured out that this mindset, this helping you understand how you're self-sabotaging yourself is really how I can have the most impact in the music industry. So, what I'm doing is teaching people how to build these small habits where when you get knocked down, you're going to be able to get back up in a hurry. And also, so much of our time and energy is just draining out of us because we're carrying this heavy weight of fear or worry. Where are we going to get the next gig from? Like, how is this going to work? Like, all of this stuff. And it's just completely draining time and energy. So when I'm going out to look for my team, I'm looking for other people that like understand this pain because this is the group of people that need our help. They-
yeah,
you don't always know that you're in it until someone can really just express like the frustration and any of the other negative emotions that you're feeling. And then the other thing that I'm looking for are the people that are strong in the areas I'm not.
yeah, that's
So
smart.
I kind of consider myself a little bit of a jack of all trades. Like I know like generally about like just about like everything. But really the emotional intelligence is my specialty. But everything else that I talk about or somebody in my community needs help with, I'll go find an expert, someone who like they just focus on that one thing because like I do with emotional intelligence, I spend a whole lot of time just reading books and doing research about the topic. These other people have done the same thing, but with like how to use Facebook or LinkedIn appropriately,
Yeah,
or how do you do email marketing campaigns, or any of the stuff that you might be stuck on.
yeah, yeah, and I love that. I love what you said about finding the people who are good or what they do, like a specialist. And we don't have enough time to be a master of everything. So it's really great when we can focus on our, one to two specialties, and then we connect with the other people who are amazing at what they do. Um, that's one thing that I do with my own group, with like the music production group, is I connect with the best collaborators and the people who are the best instrumentalists, the best pop singers, the best, because I'm not a master of those things, but I have people in my network who are, and I think that's so important. So I love everything that you have talked about there, and it's really great that you're focused on, again, that mindset and not self sabotaging and having the right network and right people around you to support yourself and kind of get you out of that feast or famine mindset, and I love that. So that's great. So leading to our next question, I want to ask, what have you been imagining that you will accomplish this year? What's your big goals? What's your plans?
So my goal this year is building community. Now that I know what my community is all about, what we value, what we represent, what we're going to talk about, I am looking for other people that resonate with those topics, that want to learn more about those topics, that want to help each other out, that want to be in a place of abundance and not where there's all of this negativity coming at you. We might talk negative things like the negative emotions that we're feeling, or oh my gosh, we're stuck, but we're not going to just wallow in the mud. We're going to talk about ways that we could actually get out of it, because we have a huge amount of control in what opportunities come our way. And so I think that community is super valuable, because you never know what you're going to learn from the conversations that are within a community. For example, I shoot competitive archery, and so I'm part of an archery community.
That's
And
awesome.
I wouldn't know half the stuff that I know about archery if it wasn't for, as you were saying earlier, Josh, showing up to the shoots and asking questions or asking for help or watching videos and reading different community threads online. I've learned so much, and it's become such an enriching activity in my life. And I wouldn't be that far along if I was just on my own and I just got a
Yeah.
target and I put it in my backyard and I wasn't trying to compete and show up.
Yep. Yeah, I totally agree with that. It's great to connect with people who know more than us, and having mentors and people who've already been through the process, they can really make it easier as we learn and navigate that instead of trying to do everything ourselves. And even if they're not necessarily a master, just having a community of people who support you and are maybe trying to achieve the same things is so great, because you all learn from each other. And that's why I feel like pods are so successful, when people, they're supporting each other's posts, they're resharing each other's posts or whatever it is. They're always engaged with their community. And I agree. I feel like the community is so valuable, and people need to really look at, networking as building relationships and building real friends, instead of just like having somebody that's a network or connection. Like, no, you need to really become friends with these people, because I like to say that friends do favors and not strangers. And you can help somebody, they can help you, and there's so many ways that can benefit everybody, and it's so great. So I want to also ask, now that we've talked about how important community is, what is a significant obstacle that you faced in your career? How did you overcome it? What lessons did you learn from these experiences, and what did you take away from it?
So the one that always comes to mind is what I was talking about earlier, when I was 27 and I was just sitting in my recliner looking at the list of stuff that I wanted to do for music, and I wasn't doing any of it.
Yeah.
And I was so frustrated, because in my job, I ran someone else's business. I made sure other people got stuff done. We had deadlines, like stuff got done, right? But why was I not doing it for myself?
Yeah.
And that's when I probably put in the longest Google search ever, which was, why am I not doing the things that I know I should be doing? And that's when I found a life coach. And when I looked at his site and I listened to the things he was saying, at first I thought maybe he had some sort of like camera in my brain or something. Like no one had ever expressed the way that I was feeling so clearly before. And so I took a big gamble. Like I didn't even talk to this guy beforehand, do like a free like session or anything. I just called up my friend and I was like, I think we should really go to this conference. It's in Chicago. I was in Wisconsin at the time. So we're going to have to drive to Chicago, but I think we should go. And she took the risk with me, just on me saying, we got to do this.
Yeah.
And it was absolutely life changing because it was when I discovered, I mean, things changed so quickly once I really understood these concepts that, again, I'm going to say should have been taught in school.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. I love that. And like you said, it's you want to build your own future and have something to show for at the end of the day. Because if you spend all your time and efforts helping, or not even, I don't even know if it's helping because you're not really in a position where you want to be. You're just doing, I guess. And I feel like your work can be in vain because you don't feel satisfied at the end of the day. You don't feel like you're doing what you're supposed to do. And I think what you said is so true about that risk. Like that risk can really be rewarding, and taking that first step is like so pivotal because we can talk and plan forever, but we need to start taking action into our thoughts and ideas, and that's what's really gonna change things for the better. Like you said, that risk that you did with your friend really, it just changed your whole, it changed everything. So I love to hear that risk was so important. Um, so
And
I
you
do.
know what? Like, I was just being ridiculous in my expectations of myself.
Yeah.
At my job, here's the difference. At my job, I had a boss still that was making sure and holding me accountable. I did not have that. So when I started with this coaching program, now I had someone that was watching that had my best interests in
Yeah.
mind and was sharing information with me that was relevant and that was going to help me. And one of the biggest things that he did for me in one conversation was completely change my mindset about who I was. He went to my social page and he's like, well, I keep hearing you say, I want to be a rock star. But when I look at your social pages, I see you on stage. I see you writing music. I see you released a song. He's like, that all sounds like stuff rock stars do.
Yeah.
Like,
Yep.
so what do you mean you want to be? You are.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I agree.
that became a very important lesson for me to be very careful about what words you put after I am.
Yeah.
Whenever you hear yourself say I am and then something after it, always take a minute and reflect and see if you really are that thing, if that's really
Yep.
part of your essence and who you are, or what you're doing and how you want to define yourself. That helps again with your brand, going back to some of the stuff that you were
Yeah.
talking about earlier, Josh. But it also, even if you're not running a business, it's useful for you to know these things so that you can communicate what you want to do in your life with other people who give you the opportunities to get there.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. I'm glad that you added that on because I'm guilty of that myself, where it's like you try to put everything into the future. Oh, I'll start this next week, and you're always living in this like ahead of time, but you need to take, you're already doing these things. And I remember like when I was started with the clients, I had that same mindset where it's like, no, I'm already recording songs. I'm already, working with clients. I'm already like, and I wasn't giving myself enough credit. And I think it's so important to really give yourself credit, and take that action right now instead of just putting everything into the future, because if it stays in the future, it's always going to be in the future. And you need to start taking the action in the present time. So I love that. I love that you added that on. So I do want to ask though, what is one big piece of advice that you would offer to younger artists starting out, or maybe a young version of yourself?
So I feel like I'm going to take a cue off what we were just talking about and talk about imposter syndrome. Because, man, it can really, really change how you communicate and promote yourself, how you talk to other people who might be good collaborators one day. Think about it this way. Even if you are just starting out in the music industry, but you've been consistently practicing your instrument, for example, you are already so much farther ahead of the people that have just started thinking about picking up an instrument and learning how to play it.
Yeah.
So already the experience that you've had, your style of practicing, the kind of songs that you learn, when you sit down to practice, all of these things are little skills, little habits that when you do it over and over again over time, it will add up to a big result.
Yeah.
And that makes you an expert even when you're just starting out. So definitely give yourself credit and celebrate every day.
Yeah.
Don't wait to be happy until your album drops or until you play that
Yes.
big show or whatever it is that you've said, well, I'll be happy when.
Yeah.
That is something to catch in your language because
Yep.
it's robbing you of your happiness right now today. There are
Absolutely.
so many things to enjoy in your journey being in the music industry. And I think that was one of the biggest things that I missed and why it felt so hard is
Yeah.
because I was always living for that future event that was just so far away. And I was just never giving myself time to celebrate the things that I had accomplished today. Hey, you know what? I got out of bed today. How do you like that? Like it
Yeah.
can be something so small. If you're having a rough day, like just do something small and
Yeah.
celebrate that and keep that momentum up. And there's really going to be no stopping you because you're going to figure out how to keep using this for other stuff you want to do.
Yeah. That's great. I totally agree because that was something I would say within the last 3 to 6 months for me personally was like my biggest thing was I had always I had always done that. I'd always put all of my happiness in the future, but recently, like I said, within the last 3 to 6 months, I really connected and I'm enjoying the process now. I'm genuinely enjoying like working towards my goals and I'm happy doing the work and I feel rewarded from the journey and not just some destination that is way in the future or whatever. Like I don't look at that. I'm enjoying every day. I'm enjoying the people I talk to. I enjoy the projects I do and I'm already doing what I love. So I don't know why we set these like milestones where it has to be this, it has to be that. Because if you don't get out of that mindset, even when you do those things, you're still going to create another list and you're going to continue that process. Well, oh, I'm not happy because of this or that, even when you achieve the things that you've always worked towards. So you need to be present, be in the moment. And I love that. It's so important to have confidence in yourself. And I see that with artists all the time and that mindset of they don't want to talk about what they do or they're not ready to share their voice or their art with the world. And I think that is so toxic to their own success and their own growth because they're limiting themselves. They're not allowing themselves to be seen and be heard because they have all of these mindsets and they don't think that they're good enough or they don't think they've hit this expectation. And I think that's just self-sabotaging and it's going to delay your process and it's going to delay your happiness and your growth. So yeah, it's definitely important to give yourself credit, to believe in yourself. And that is the number one thing before you start anything, any genre of music, any business opportunity, you need to get that in order. Your mindset is the number one thing. That's so important. So yeah, thank you for sharing. So let's jump in to our mystery question. Now you actually have the list, so you get to pick a number.
I do. And I promise I didn't peek at the questions beforehand. I'm going to pick 44.
44.
Okay, let's see what 44 is.
Awesome. And you have that, so that's on your end.
Oh gosh, like it's such like a good question, but like I have to say, like I never really thought about this before. Okay, so the question is, who would be your dream collaboration?
Oh wow.
Okay, so my dream collaboration is to have a group of creatives that are all good in like different areas of art. So we've got
Yep.
like
The
our graphic
specialist.
design people that are like fabulous on all this content creation stuff. And we've got the film community and the video. And we've got, the people that are doing the music production. And then, of course, we've got all the talent and all
Yeah.
of that stuff. And there's like somebody that's kind of like heads up the department of all of those things, but they all are kind of like community generators, like
Yeah.
leaders of those communities. But then they help everybody engage in different projects. So, then we go out and we see like who we can help. So somebody needs help with this, I don't know, social media management stuff. But then we realize that, oh, hey, they actually don't know anything about generating leads. So
Yeah.
like it's like a one-stop shop collaboration for creatives to have all of these business tools and resources in one place. So you don't
Yeah.
have to always go out and hunt so hard. I
Yeah.
think that would be my dream collaboration.
I love that. That is such a great answer. And it makes me think of think of even like hospitals and stuff, right? You have all the different doctors and specialists, right? You have a person who's like a cardiologist, you have the neurologist, and I have all these doctors who are specialists and they all work to help their patients at a hospital. And it's the same thing with this. I love your idea. Like we have the people who know the business and know the marketing. We have people that know the creative side who know how to, structure melodies and patterns and create all of those things. We have people that do the video content. We have people that do, it's the same thing. And I love that. And I agree that having that one-stop shop, that resource is going to be so great because it's it'll create such an environment where people will thrive. And I really believe that because they're going to be happier because they got like-minded people they can talk to. They are going to be happier because they got people who know what they're doing. And I just love that. I really, really love that. So, wow, I'm just super excited about that. And I think that's what we're growing right now. So let's ask what can we do to find you? How can we find you, Heidi? How can people and artists connect with you? How can people just continue this conversation?
Okay, so like I said earlier, my main goal this year is to build community.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to post a link to my main community login. You can create a free account. You're going to find the Believe Retreat community for women creators. So if you're out there listening and you're a women creator, that's a great group for you. There's also the Prosperity Guide community. And so that is for music industry professionals that are looking for a way to prosper in the music industry. And there is also a private ETOPIA community. And that is where, as a team of collaborators, we're kind of talking about putting together this project. And so we are looking for people that have been working in the music industry that want to share their knowledge. And if you're here in Jacksonville, Florida, that is awesome because we need some local people to teach. But If you're not, we can record you on video and it's going to be able to go on to our digital education for these students. So if you're someone who wants to teach or mentor, um, that put in a request for the Etopia group, and I'll be happy to reach out to you guys. And I think that's it about the communities, but I also want to mention that once a month I co-host a musical prosperity forum. And so, Josh, you're going to make it on Monday. Oh, I guess I should say the date. It's next Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern time.
Yep.
Are you going to be there, Josh?
I will be there. I love these events. These have been so great. Every time we've done one, I've connected with these people, and I think it's so great. So yeah, I will definitely be attending, and we can just share this community. And it's I would encourage everybody who's watching to participate because it's a really great event.
So I just shared the link to the landing page for that. So if you're interested in that event, just sign up and we will see you next Monday evening to have some awesome conversation. I never know which way it's going to go. Have a notebook because there's going to be a lot of good stuff. But if you attend, you do get the recording. So that is also a benefit. I know that some collaborations have happened from these events so far.
Yeah.
So it's worthwhile to show up and see who else shows up.
Yeah. You never know who's going to be there. So it's a great way to connect.
And then the last thing that I wanted to make sure to share with all of you, the last link is our Etopia page. And, you know, one of the things that really make things happen a lot of times is money. So we need some sponsors that want to help these kids go through this program. It's going to help cover our costs for different mini pop-up events that we're going to have to promote this. Different other programs and tools and people that we need to hire and things like that. So check out the ETOPIA Festival page and see what we're doing with that. You also can look back and enjoy our first live stream event. It was actually a metal show. And I am very excited for our interviews coming up in the future. It's just, the bands are busy. Getting them on the schedule and getting everybody together in one place, is not always the easiest thing. They do refer to it as herding cats sometimes. So
yep.
We're working on that. But in the meantime, we're also interviewing other artists. And so we are doing an interview this week. I don't know when the event is going to go live just yet. So stay tuned. We're just getting started, so we don't have a consistent schedule. We're just kind of starting to figure stuff out here on the online space. So subscribe. Wherever you are watching this, go ahead and subscribe and follow what we're doing here. And I don't know. I'm just excited about this whole project.
Yeah, me too. I'm super excited, and I can't wait to see how it grows and evolves. And I think it's going to be a definite force to recognize, and people need to get on board because you don't want to miss out from these amazing opportunities and this amazing community.
So Etopia could be that dream collaboration that I was talking about earlier. And this is something that I believe in so much, being able to work together to give each other a hand up. The tide raises all boats. There is no competition, especially among creatives, because your experience and the things that you have created, the kind of music that you make, the kind of other creations that you have are unique to you. You're like your own brand of chili.
Yeah.
So no one can compete with that.
Yeah, you're unique.
All right. So, do you have any final words for today's live stream, St. Josh?
I'm just super grateful to have this conversation today, and I look forward to these events. And I, again, encourage everybody to be a part of them because this is a growing uh, opportunity, and it's just going to be. I truly believe it's going to grow and be amazing. So, yeah, just be a part of it. Thank you, Heidi, so much for everything today.
Well, I want to thank everyone that hung around and watched this conversation today. That's super awesome. Love it. And tell your friends, share. That'd be awesome too. And I hope everybody enjoys their Monday evening.
Yeah, likewise. Thank you. Thank everybody for watching, and we're going to continue these. So just stay tuned.
All right. We'll see you next time.
Bye, guys. Thank you.